everyone, and welcome to Cedar Point. My name is Jim from WildGravityTravels.com, and for those of you who haven't been following our social accounts or seen it on our various posts, we have me and Brent, our main correspondents, our creators of the site, have moved to Ohio now, so we'll be covering Cedar Point a lot more. And excitingly enough, we have coaster construction to bring you through the end of the season. So through the end of October at the very least, hopefully we'll be bringing you what is happening to Main Street. And this is the area coming out of the station right here. The station is pretty much remaining untouched. This is just the train arriving. I thought it would make a great opening and welcome. So up here you can see this is the station to Main Street, pretty much untouched other than the track changes. We're going to go over to a couple different angles and get as many zoom shots as we can of it, of the track. They are expecting an RMC, Rocky Mountain Construction is the name of the company. They've done several coaster makeovers, taking old wooden coasters that are rough and turning them into steel beauties, smoothing them out with a hybrid structure, wood support, keeping some of the wood supports, but adding steel track. So you can see that right here, all of that steel track being added to the old Main Street wood structure. They do add some additional structure as well. And you can see some twists, really smooth twists in the steel. They use I-beam track, so like imagine just an eye stretched out into a long steel beam across all their tracks. So that is how RMC, as I will call them moving forward, RMC builds coasters. So over here we're going to take a look. We can see some of the inversions right here. If you look through the woodwork, it's actually like a darker red color, almost brownish color rail going in place here. Off in the distance you can see one of the original hills for Main Street, and it's actually completely covered there. You see the American flag waving, but it's completely covered as well with that track across there. Now this flat area right here you're seeing is actually the old like mid-course brake run for Main Street, and no sign of track on it yet, but one of the big hills is gone right here. This used to be the entrance area over the train there. You see the entrance area. The track actually dips down quite a bit there, and this is coming out of what we presume to be the first drop. That big tall hill there is coming out of the first drop, turning and going over to another hill, which we'll show you from a different angle in just a moment. These are going to be pretty short construction videos for the time being. We can't get too many places to see this. It is all roped off. This is about as close as we can get to the area. We're going to try the campground probably in our second update. Don't know when that will be. They are making some progress, but the progress has slowed down now that the season is in full swing here at Cedar Point. So coming up, like I said, we're going to take a look at a couple more different angles of the ride and figure out what we can see on our first ever Cedar Point construction update for whatever is replacing Main Street. Stay tuned. So really quick, picking up right here, this is just that twist that we just showed you on the other side. This gives you a good sense of how it's actually going to turn. If you look really closely through there, you can see the track. I'm going to take you the direction I think it's going to go. It's going to go up this way, hit a couple inversions. You're actually going to almost inline twist, it appears. Or maybe it's like a trick track, not really sure from this angle. And then it's going to turn and go downward a little bit that way and across that wood structure on the other side. So we can't see a whole lot of that. We did take some still pictures coming in along the perimeter road. Don't think we're going to be getting perimeter road video today. And there up at the top you can see some of the structure still there from old Main Street that hasn't really had anything done with it yet. So we'll be waiting to see what happens with that as well. I think that could be the first drop and the first hill. The hill is not yet completed with the iron track work there, or the steel track work rather. We're going to try to squeeze right here and take a look. You can see that other inversion right beyond that first one there. That is completely upside down, that second set of rails there. I know this is probably hard for some of you guys to see, and check that out. So we'll take a look at a few more angles coming up. Stay tuned. So over here on this side, we're on the other side of the brake run. For those of you who've been to the park, we're next to Slingshot from this angle. Just looking out, we can see that turn that we talked about with the flag there, coming down and around. And that comes down there, goes into that hill up here. So that's really the only ironwork we're seeing back here. Again, that brake run has no steelwork on it yet, but we do see I-beams across all of these here. You can kind of see the rails running along the track there. So we're going to go outside the park, check out a couple different angles, and see if we can see anything extra out there, or get to any areas where we might get a better angle or a different angle for some shots. So stay tuned for that on our updates. So here's another shot of that brake run I've been talking about from several angles now, but it looks like you can see the valley of those two hills. Remember that first big hill I showed you is actually behind this tree now, and then that second hill that kind of rolls sideways, we can see it rolls at like an outward bank, maybe just for the fun of it. RMC is known for those type of elements, but you can see the valley of the track right there, all in place with the I-beam track. We're going to head on over to the campground and see if we can see anything from there. Coming up next. So looking through the trees here at Lighthouse Point Campground, we could see some structure going up. Looks like the makings of some hills here, maybe a turn. Also, we see that first drop area we talked about. We're almost looking straight on it where the first drop will come down. And we see that twisted steel going up and through that drop structure. As I move over here a little bit, looking under the trees, you can see some of the twisted steel coming out there of the track. Now coming up, we're going to conclude with a side angle view of that first drop and first lift area, or what we expect to be the first lift, or what we expect to be the lift and first drop area. As we wrap up our look at whatever it is they're going to call New Mean Streak, we take a look. This is the lift hill. You'll see some pictures in our update of some of the steelwork going up about a quarter of the lift, maybe less than that right now. But this is the old lift hill. We expect it to continue to be the lift hill. And here we see where the woodwork leaves off. There's actually pieces of support structure hanging off the edges there. Like they're going to continue to build out either for a drop or maybe possibly for a vertical drop or near vertical drop. We'll see about that. And then here's one more look at the steel structure for the coaster for the RMC project here. You see a look at that steel structure, wraps over the lift there and goes through the lift. You can see right through here. So this will wrap up our first ever update on whatever it is they're going to call this that's replacing Mean Streak. We know it is RMC at this point, just by the track work. So that's going to wrap everything up. My name is Jim from WildGravityTravels.com, joining you from Cedar Point. And we'll have some more updates around the Midwest. We will still continue doing updates from Florida on a few different projects and news and happenings with Michael down there, as well as our friend David. So we'll be getting some updates from Florida as well, always around the parks down there, since that is where we got our start, and we know a lot of you follow for the Florida park coverage. This will be for Cedar Point. Have a great day and week ahead, everyone. Enjoy the summer.